It's a full week of hybrid training, 100-mile ultramarathon edition. Let's get to it. I'm coming to you live with another full week of hybrid training, 100-miler, lifting, staying strong, crushing all the goals edition. Right now it is the first week of April and I am 3 weeks out from the Hyner View 50K challenge. I haven't ran a 50K in a few years, but the Hyner View challenge was actually the first trail and ultramarathon that I ever volunteered at in college that exposed me to trail ultra running. And I said, and I quote at one point, "Those people are crazy, I would never do something like that." And so when I got off the wait list, it was only fitting that I did it. So this month, I'm gonna be taking you through this week of training, then I will also take you through the 50K day, so stay tuned for that as well. So first things first, it's Monday, I'm gonna head out for a run. I still am and am loving kind of cushioning some miles on my week on Mondays. I did come off a rest day yesterday, I'm coming off a deload week, knowing this is a big week of training, so I should feel pretty fresh, so I'm excited to get some non-fatigue miles on my legs to kick off the week. And so we're gonna hit today with a run. I'm aiming for probably 7 to 8 miles or 7 miles plus some striders, somewhere in that range, give or take. So that's kind of the goal for today. Again, I'm really liking banking some miles on my week before my lifts and my runs, and then helping me kind of spread that out a little bit across my weekdays, so I can kind of get my runs in, but also fitting in my lifts in an appropriate way. And since this run is pretty easy, zone 2, not super fatiguing, it's great because then tomorrow when I do my squat day, it seems to not really bother and interfering that, and then I can kind of keep my quality session more midweek and then my next leg day at the end before my long runs on the weekend. Again, knowing me, I'm the queen of rearranging my week on the fly, so we will see what comes up. But that's kind of my plan for the week this week, and I'm aiming for about 38 to 40 miles this week in training. I finished up 2 weeks ago before my deload at about 37 and a half miles, so I'd like to kind of bump that up a little bit, bump up next week, and then I'm gonna be training right into that 50K. I'm not gonna be deloading, tapering it. I'm gonna use that 50K kind of as a tune-up training race, kind of an easier effort, not max all effort day, but it's kind of a good, fun, long day in the woods on the trail. So let's get started on workout 1 of the week. Let's go warm up for my run. So we are keeping this super easy, conversational, low heart rate. Something I've been really more intentional about this year, just since I'm training for a 100-miler. And I am trying to get a little bit faster coming off my injury year, but I've really polarized my running intensities a bit more. So I am just running my easy runs easy, and then being intentional about speed or vert training, being a little bit more intensive. And then my long runs, not worrying really about pace or finishing time or intensity, but really taking those easy and trying to finish them with a feeling of like, oh, I could double this or keep going. Really developing, like truly developing that low easy stuff, especially when I'm trying to do stuff that requires me to go all day, but then being intentional with like quality work and polarizing that up a little bit. And then also going slower and easier with ultra training, get you more time on feet, so your runs do take longer, but at the end of the day, you're getting more of that time on feet, which is usually opposite of what people want. They're like, I want to finish my run faster, but it's kind of my mindset this year with training at this time, especially as I'm ramping up intensity and volume, really making sure the easy stuff's actually easy, so it's not digging too far into my recovery or my fatigue. My shirt looks ridiculous, and I know it, but we're gonna pretend it's like my superhero cape today, all right? All right, the run part of my run is done. I went a little further than I planned. I ran a little bit of different variation of my normal route, but I'm still gonna get my strides in. Striders or strides, if you aren't doing them, are one of the best ways to like microdose speed work into your training program and or start adding speed work to your training program. So if you're a beginner runner or something looking to get faster, adding striders, 2 or 3 days per week after your easy runs is something that we do in all of our beginner plans in the list method, and then extend to our intermediate plans when we introduce formal speed work, is doing striders. And so these are kind of like 80 to 90% all out running efforts. They're not necessarily like sprints, but they're like hard running, true running efforts done at like, again, 80 to 90% of your max effort. So you kind of start to build your intensity and then descend it throughout the rep. And then you kind of do about 20 to 30 seconds. And then you recover for about 30 to 90 seconds between them. And you can kind of start with like 3 or 4 and build your way up to like 5 or 6. And so last week I did 6, or 2 weeks ago before I deloaded, I did 6 sets of 20 seconds. So give or take, we'll do that here today, and then we'll wrap up my run. head in, crush some dinner, and get ready for my double day tomorrow. Let's do it. And that's a wrap on today, Monday, 8.5 miles on the bank, 6 striders, done, dusted. I am ready to eat dinner, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Good morning, my friends. Day 2, squat day, interval day. Let's crush it. Was anticipating this and dreading it kind of a little bit last night. Woke up this morning, I was like, we're just gonna get it done for the day. So I got up, got some breakfast in, got some caffeine, got some water, got a few work tasks done while I let that digested, and I'm ready to just get this done and over with. I'm feeling a little stiff this morning, so we're gonna take an extra long warm up, really ease into things and get it going. So let's go. So I got a comment this morning on one of my reels from the proof interview. If you haven't watched or listened to that, I highly recommend it, saying stop growing butts and start growing brains. What are you, baboons? So my friends, today we are going to grow our glutes and continue to have brains and brawn too. Let's hop in. Okay, first I'm gonna pull up my list method workout. I am gonna, keep warming up here a little bit. Let's see what we're getting into today. We are doing the same lift as last week. And so I'm gonna pull up my calendar here. So we have some warm-up things, some squats, some power cleans, split squats, and then some heavy carries and holds. I'm actually loving this block because it's not as much volume or as many exercises. And I'm also loving, we're currently working on year 2 of Perform and Build, and seeing some of the stuff that Noah has in here and those programs, or bringing them into Perform over from Build. From the last block, I definitely saw a lot of the things that I was doing in that full week of training video, and now in Build block 16, 17, and 18. So it's getting a little spicy, and we're gonna get started. Let's go. If you guys don't know, the clogs, they're anabolic clogs, gains. I am the biggest dilly-daddler. This is taking forever. Between getting myself outside, getting the warm going, and getting my lift started, I'm just like taking my sweet time today. You know what? I got the whole day to work, right? Who cares? Let's do it. Little 163 single action. RPE, no, I'll take it. I have a hard time catching. I'm working on that, but let's move to squats finally. Probably could have gone heavier, but the past few weeks I've been completely messing up this rep RPE thing, because we're starting with less reps and moving to higher reps. So going heavier and then doing lighter weight back offs. And for some reason in my head, I've been like underloading my 3 and then overloading my other sets. So I think we hit it today. Probably could have gone heavier, but that's all right. Okay, since I kind of under-hit the RP on the set of 3, which is totally fine, I only kind of took like 6 pounds off and did the set of 5, which is a little bit more on par for the target of like a 7 that I'm doing. Those actually moved really, really well. So probably definitely can keep going up next week. I was lifting well into the 200s that last block, but then with travel and some few weeks of like wonky coming back into it, I definitely try to be careful building back in, but felt good. So last set. So I have split squats, front rack carries, and heavy front rack holds today. So I hate the holds, they're the worst. If you need a tip, get down on your knee, put your foot out at a 90, hold that dumbbell, and stand right up. Now I'm trying to use a little more glute focus, so we're gonna lean. Accidentally did 7 on the right side. What am I doing today? These are the worst thing ever. Screw no groover. We're doing them probably because he probably wants to have me get comfortable with holding weight in that front rack position with my goal for my power cleans for this year. So these are something that you would have to do. Would you do carries, front racks, and list method? But we've done these before when I've had like ollie lifting goals. Oh my God, they're terrible. Anyway, let's do it. You know, that is 20 pounds up from last week and the first week was terrible. And that actually felt reasonable, and that's on neuromuscular adaptation, kids. All right, my friends, we are headed to the gym. I am gonna do my speed workout that Coach Noah is now officially programming for me as of this week. I basically followed our base build off-season plan in the list method from like late December into pretty much through my travels, and then kind of moved into our new 30 to 40 one that's coming out soon. But as I'm preparing for this 50K and getting a little more specific with my training, I wanted to pass off my speed work to Noah, because it, one, helps me get creative in programming stuff for my own for clients, but also two, has someone take an honest assessment of things that I lack in. And so we are gonna be working on some short end of range distance and doing some run testing to see where I struggle most, which I know I struggle with that. I'm really strong and powerful, but I also can like run really far. I'm really aerobic. I really struggle and lack in that like middle, more quote unquote like glycolytic, moderate distance type efforts. And so I definitely need to develop some speed, especially because I deconditioned so much coming off my injury. So I'm doing a 3K run test today, and then 3 rounds of 1K at that pace with 5 minutes of rest between all of that. So lots of rest, lots of all out efforts, lots of hard efforts. This is gonna suck, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna get it done, and then we're gonna rest the legs tomorrow. So let's go. Also on that note too, if you are interested in joining the list method, or you're a client watching this and you struggle with certain things and you need helps and gaps in that, one, let me do a zones assessment on you, and or two, we can give you prescriptions or kind of ideas of what you should focus on in the off season. So if you're a marathon runner or an ultra runner and you know that you lack in that flat distance speed, consider doing something like our 1 or 2 mile program for time, or a fast 5K or 10K program during your off seasons to help develop the same thing similar to what I'm gonna be doing here, because sometimes we get a little too good at running for a really long time and not so much short and fast. So that's my side note. Let's go.
Not gonna lie, guys, I have no idea how to be consistent. I'm really nervous.
All right, my friends, done and dusted on that workout. That was actually pretty rough. I haven't done anything like that in like years. We did a 3K max effort time trial. I did that at a 7:30 pace. Feel really good about that, actually. I wasn't sure where I'd fall or how to pace it, so I started at like an 8 minute mile, moved up to like 650 by the end. I would have probably felt better if I divided it in the middle and stayed there the whole time, but I didn't really know, and so I kind of started slow and built as I went, and then rest 5 minutes, and then do 3 1K efforts at about that pace with 5 minutes of rest in between. I have a smoothie getting delivered to my house soon, so I can shower and get ready and hop back into work. Definitely dilly-dallied way too much today. Those workouts took too long, but sometimes I just don't want to rush my training. And so I'm glad that's done. I think we're going to move our rest day tomorrow. If not, we're definitely doing upper body, because these legs need a day off. So I'll see you tomorrow. We are on day 3 of this week of training. I took a rest day yesterday, and now I kind of wish I got that upper body lift in, because surprise, surprise, we may or may not be adopting some dogs this weekend. Someone is looking to rehome their dogs because of something with work and having to move abroad, and we potentially may adopt their pups. We are going to meet them first before we make that formal decision, but because of that, I'm rearranging my week of training. So this is potentially a more exciting week of training video than I've ever posted before. So with that being said, I'm gonna do my full body day 3 lift today and get some running and or stair stepping in today as well, to attempt to move my long run to tomorrow on Friday. We'd be getting the dogs, or we're going to meet the dogs on Saturday. And then I have that time and freedom in my weekend to get in just an upper body lift and or some other running, and not have to stress too much about factoring in dogs in a long run and this massive life change. And if it doesn't work out and we end up not getting the dogs, or someone else gets them before we do, then I just have the weekend for some extra free time. But that's the pivot. So maybe a more exciting week of training video, maybe a letdown, we don't know, but we're just gonna get the training in anyway, because the work needs done. So let's do it. All right, we have an 8-minute EMOM that is every 30 seconds, so 2 reps per minute. Every 30 seconds for 8 minutes, 135 pounds in the bar there. I am doing 1 power clean, so 16 reps total. I like to set this on the Smart WOD timer app. This is just a free app in the App Store. 16 rounds of 30 seconds work, 30 seconds rest. So every time it beeps, I will do a rep. So let's get it started. Knees are feeling easier this week. Woo! And the weight's up. We love it. We love to see that. All right, now we have pause deadlifts. I am on my second set here, 236 on the bar. First set moved good at 225. We're building up an RPE each set, so let's do it. All right, I'm actually really proud of myself getting through deadlifts and cleans in a respectful amount of time. Not dilly-daddling. Now I gotta finish up my accessories and wrap it up. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I actually pushed myself really hard today in that workout. It left me pretty winded. I think coming off of the end of the last block, my deload and then my travel, it took me like a week or two to get back in the swing of things, but I feel like I pushed weight today really hard, but it all felt good. But by the time I got through my accessories, I was like, oh man. So I'm gonna go take a breather, get a sneaky snack, and then I do not feel emotionally or mentally prepared to run today, but you know, if I'm potentially getting doggies, I wanna make sure that they can have all of my undivided attention this weekend, and if not, I get extra rest and recovery then. So the work's gonna get done anyway. Let's do it. Friday, upper body run day, making up for potentially some missed miles this weekend and moving my long run to Sunday now. A little bit of a pivot of my original plan. Things have been crazy this week, but that's a great lesson, and being flexible and knowing that getting the training in matters most. And I'm kind of packing in some extra rest by taking 2 rest days this week, and it'll actually be 3 in a 7-day span. So I don't mind doubling up 3 days this week, which normally I do not do, but we're making it work. So let's do it. Today we are working up to an AMRAP at a high percentage of my 1 rep max. Coach Noah has been kind of testing where my strength is recently with this. So I'm doing 2 warm-up sets, superset with some face pulls, and then doing that AMRAP set at the end, which will be really heavy. I'm a little nervous, but we're gonna send it. All right, here's 2 good tips and lessons on making strength progress in the gym. So I did 35s for the first set of those single arm kneeling presses, and my second set I did 40. And that's the first weight jump I've been able to make after 3 weeks or a block of doing these. And I was even doing single arm Z presses before it. And sometimes it's just really hard to make that upper body progress. And it's totally normal and okay if you're kind of doing the same weight for a couple weeks in a row. You can adjust your reps, or get those small change plates, that's helpful, but sometimes it's just your body's not ready to increase that ceiling to increase the weight that you can adapt and rise up to. And then number 2, my RPE target is 8 on these, and I think I don't have another set of 40 in me at that for 6 reps of 8, so I'm gonna go back to the 35. And it's totally okay if you're adjusting to RPE, then not all of your weights are the same for every single set to adjust to that as you're training. So let's go do our final set and wrap it up. I am wrapping up and finishing on some foot stability type stuff, which is good because I'm gonna go run, so it kind of can double as a little bit of a warm up. I did not plan to double up 3 days this week. Again, that's because I'm taking 2 rest days, and I've essentially had to divide my run that I do on the weekend into the stair step I did yesterday and the run I'm doing today. Normally I would do like a Sunday run plus stair step type thing. If you go back to my 50-mile training stuff, I did a lot more of that, and you can kind of look back to see that. So since I'm having to like kind of condense and rearrange things, it's just how it works. And if you get in a pinch with your programming, and you know, for me, I'm peaking for a race in a few weeks, so I have less wiggle room for like these missed weeks and gaps and things like that I already kind of built into my travel the last few weeks. And so it's one of those weeks where I'm like, I just have to get it in. But it is what it is. I'm keeping the intensity low yesterday, keeping it low today, and that's kind of how I'm factoring that in. But also I'm getting 2 rest days, so at the end of the day, I'm still getting 2 days of lower body rest and whole body rest, so it kind of works out and it's gonna be okay. So let's wrap it up and get on my run. All right, friends, and that's a wrap. I'm going to go hit an easy run, finish up this day. I have to rush to get new tires put on my car today as well. So once again, this full week of training is just like a full week of reality of how I really do fit all of this in with running my business, doing all the things I do, being a human, and potentially some other life curveballs that come along the way. So, all right, let's finish this Friday up. Let's go. All right, I really got to turn and burn on this run because then I have to literally leave as soon as I finish to head to my car appointment. But I've been thinking about this week's of training, and it's one of those weeks where it's feeling like everything's actually clicking, which is always really fun. Historically in the past, I know that like 30 to 35 miles a week is where things would start to get murky with me, with balancing, lifting, and running, keeping lifting in at this point, lifting this heavy. And obviously we're kind of bumping mileage up these few weeks into this 50K, but things actually feel really good. I feel like everything's really high quality. Obviously I'm coming off of deload week, which helps a lot with that. But this is just a good testament to the fact that hybrid training is a long-term game. And if you guys have been following along for a while, you know I lost a lot of fitness with finishing up my PhD in running. And then I lost a lot of lifting fitness with my injury, especially like squats and stuff like that. And then last year was like a rebuild year with coming back to my 50 miler, which I documented that whole thing, coming back from my injury, rebuilding fitness, and it's just setting up a hell of a base. And now this year is really about like refining those two things together. And when we think about hybrid training, we want to think about it as a long game, long-term approach, not just something that like we're instantly good at overnight. You're trying to raise your floor on 2 different things simultaneously, or like kind of one at a time. So don't think about always like pushing your ceiling up, but raising your floor of your baseline of like what you can handle and maintain and recover from. In my ebook Hybrid, if you're interested in that, we'll leave a coupon and a link here for you. It talks about exactly this and how people with higher fitness statuses or more training experience and history can do more volume or handle more and recover of both, or 2 things at the same time, versus people with less fitness in one versus the other, or less fitness overall might not be able to. So that's something to keep in mind. And I think it's cool that I've been documenting this stuff for a few years now over here on YouTube, so you can go back and watch all that lifting as I finish my PhD, and then that return to 50 stuff, and just recognizing it is a long game. And if you can take your hybrid training and view it as a long-term, long game approach, you're gonna find a lot more success with that. And if you need help with that, that's exactly what we do in the LIST method. And our programs are developed to build those seasons for you so you can work on getting stronger or running farther or getting faster or maintaining things while you're doing the other one, at the same time over time. And we'll have the link to all my programs here in the notes below as well. So let's go run. All right, my friends, some Sunday fun day action. Let's get this long run done and dusted. The good news is all of my craziness of readjusting my schedule this week was worth it, because I am, in fact, officially the proud owner of an adorable little 1.5-year-old golden retriever pup named Kona. She's at home right now with Regis, and I am eager to get this run done, to get back home to her, because, oh my God, I love her so much, and I cannot wait to introduce her to you. All right, starting the run, feel off early. My mom gave me Girl Scout cookies, and I'm gonna kick off this first climb with some 2 tag-alongs. So let's hit this bad boy of a run today. Let's see what we get out of it while we're making. So, all right, we're about a mile in, 464 feet of gain on that climb. That's the biggest and one significant climb. So I'm gonna double back, hit that again. I can get some vert with stair steppers and stuff during the week, but it's that downhill ascent that I try to get in where and when I can. And since the race I'm doing in 2 weeks has a huge climb and some descents, I want to make sure that I'm practicing climbing as much as I can, which I've been pretty good with and felt great in the Grand Canyon, but making sure I'm still getting those descents in, mostly to make sure my quads are trained for that. They have that eccentric experience so they don't blow up. than when I get to my race. And even being 2 weeks out, like that itself will give some of a memory effect. So that way I don't potentially blow up entirely on some of the sense and or vert on that race in a few weeks. So train smarter, my friends. Stuff like this can really be that simple. So let's hit it. I'll tell you, nothing freaks me out more when I'm alone in the woods and like the old trees creak and it sounds like a crying animal, but there's no animal. You're totally alone, which makes it almost freakier. And they're creaking and squeaking. Oh my God, that gets me. Come here, Kona girl. Come here. Do you want to explain to everyone why I didn't get in all my miles last week? Is that so? Did we have a good full week of training that was chaotic and didn't go as planned because I was bringing somebody home this past weekend, and was it worth it? Yeah? Yeah? All right, my friends, well, that is a wrap on my week of training. Week of training, 50K in 2 weeks, 100-mile training edition, week of lifting plus running / surprise puppy dog getting. Change your schedule every other day, make it work, get it in. I ended up wrapping up the week on a little, like 37.5 miles, a little under what I wanted to do, but I still hit about 7 hours and 45 minutes of cardio because I also did a cycling class. Actually, no, I hit about 8 hours and 15 minutes of cardio because I did a cycling class with my friend as well. So under in miles, but I hit a good amount of time of cardiovascular training and running as well. My long run ended up being about 17 miles, and I wouldn't have traded having a crazy week for the world because now I got my Kona girl. If you're new here, I've been waiting for a pup since 2019. I've been trying to convince my husband, and we've waited and waited till the perfect timing. And she just fell into our lap this week. And I can't believe a week ago, I didn't even know who Miss Kona was. And she is a derpy girl, little derpy girl. She's scared of my tripod, so she won't even look at the camera. We're going to have to get used to it. You're going to be a social media influencer. If you guys enjoy this week of training, please let me know in the comments something that was really helpful for you, what you'd like to see in the next video. Otherwise, say hello to Kona girl, and we'll see you on the next one, right? She says subscribe, like, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.